welcome back to the Guru and the other guy. We've been away for a little bit, but we're here now for your entertainment purposes. Guru, what's up? How you been?
They stole your face on a milk carton.
Yeah, might be the other way around. So, all
Oh
right,
God.
Guru, being that we've been away for a little while, we better make this a good podcast, right? The people are chomping at the bit to hear your wisdom. So, why don't we start out by let's talk about the market, right? I'm sure you've got some news and stuff on the market. I've got my opinions on the market. So why don't you take us out, lead us up, give us what's going on with the market, and we'll talk about that, and then we'll get into my favorite subject. All right, take it
I
away,
have
Guru.
yeah. They said this is from a source. The rate last year, this time last year was 7.5.
Right, the interest rates. Yep.
So then it went down to 6.25. Now
Right.
they're saying it's 6%.
Okay.
But from last year to this year, the market's still the same. Nothing has happened, and prices are going up. So that's what I wanted to ask you. You're a mortgage guy.
Yep.
This BS about, I love the esoteric term, half a basis point, something.
Does it? All right. So.
Saying a half a point,
Right.
a basis point, you know, it's not going to do anything.
No.
So
No.
where are we at now? About 6%?
Right around there, maybe a little bit higher. I haven't checked in a little while, but I can text my wife and ask her.
Higher.
But
Well, this realtor said it was at 6.
okay.
I'm not buying. I don't know. I guess it depends on your credit score and
Yeah,
stuff.
well, yes, it's definitely going to depend on your credit score. It's always a scale, right? The better your score is, the lower the rate, right? Obviously, well, that and loan to value. So if you have, 20% down with 800 credit scores, you're going to get the best rates. If you've got a, 620 and 5%, you're obviously going to get hit the most with your credit score. So yes, also if it's an investment property, you're going to pay more. If it's a second home, you're going to pay a little bit more. Right? Obviously, the little bit more riskier the loan, the higher the interest rate's going to be. That's how the banks look at it. And me, I just think that's an ass backwards way of looking at it, because I always said, listen, the people that can least afford it are the ones that don't have the good credit scores, right? That would actually help them getting a lower payment. But the banks see it as, we're rewarding those who have done well in their life, right? Okay, so I guess they want you to strive to be better. But if you also want to get home ownership up, like, give the little guy a break too. You know what I mean? Because you're talking, if
For edification, is that the lender standard on the credit score, not the budge, or is that the
yeah,
Fed standard?
it's the lenders, and that's all driven.
It's the lenders.
It's the lenders, and it's driven by Wall Street, because they're the ones that are lending out the money. You got, Chase, Bank of America. Those guys are the ones, but those rates. So it's a correlation. Those rates are set by the Fed, right? They try the 30-year note follows pretty much the 10-year bonds. Okay, so the way the 10-year bond works, that correlates with the 30-year. So that's how it goes. So they base their rates off of that.
To me, and it's been this way the whole time, but an alternative is see the employment, see your cash flow. Okay, you had some hiccups maybe X amount of years ago. So your strength might be as good as someone, if you're at 680, 700
Right.
or less, you might be as strong as someone, or
Oh,
maybe stronger
yeah.
than someone with 800.
Yeah, no doubt.
But the one with the 800 is getting the better rate, even
Yep.
though financially they're not as,
Yep. They just kept their, yeah, you're exactly right.
yeah.
They kept their credit clean. Because you can look at, I'll just take my mother-in-law. She's 93 years old. She's got an 820 credit score, one of the highest credit scores. She's living on Social Security, right? And barely makes a penny. But if she went to go out and get a loan, they would give her the best rates, where you take somebody else who's out there maybe making $100,000 a year, but because they got a couple credit cards, right, car loan, they're living life. They're living their life. their scores are lower because they think they're more of a risk, right? But yes, they're in a better financial situation than, say, my mother-in-law. But the banks don't look at it that way, right? They are black and white when it comes to credit.
Sometimes.
What's that?
Detriment sometimes.
Yeah, it could, yeah, it is.
Because just assuming, I mean, someone's that old and they're getting all this credit, well, they may pass away
Exactly.
quickly.
Yeah,
And how are they going to collect the money
they
on a
can't.
credit card?
They're not going
No,
to.
they can't.
They're not going to.
No.
They're not going to. They're not going to. So now, how are the houses moving? What do you see out there as far as houses moving and not moving? Because I've got some news on my end.
This is when I'm involved. We talked about the academy, and I wish people would realize that there is so much potential
Oh,
when you have knowledge. Because I'm involved right now with we just listed, and use your knowledge. I'm not getting paid by the realtor because I cannot,
right.
right? Because I'm not in that realm,
Right.
nor do I want to be. But I'm getting a consultant fee when it sells from the business owner.
Right. Okay.
I put everybody together, and that's what I was saying about the academy. There's so many ways
So many ways to make
to
money.
to make money,
Yes.
and it's like the old saying. What's that old saying? A parachute is like a mine. Don't open it; it won't work.
I like that. It's so true. That's part of when I give when any new student comes into the academy, right? I always give them a pretest, which is, hey, very simple. Give me 3 sets of numbers, add them, subtract, however you want, that equal 4. 2 sets of numbers that equal 4. 99.5% of the people will say 2 plus 2, 3 plus 1, 4 plus 0. And all of the students will laugh because they all did the same test and they all failed. And it's not that they failed. That answer is correct. It is right. But what about 9 minus 5? What about 8 minus 4? What about 7 minus 3? Right? What about those numbers? Right? They also equal 4, but it's like what you just said. You're opening up your mind to different things. And then I give them another test where I put 9 dots on the board. And I say, can you touch all 9 dots with only 4 lines? The only one who ever got it right was an engineer. And this was an engineer's test. But what it does is it makes you think outside the box, right? And it opens up your mindset. And this is part of like what we're going to talk about later on is the Gurus Online, where they heard one method about trying to do some type of financing, like subject to. And now they're the so-called expert at subject to financing, and now they're going out and charging people thousands and thousands of dollars, thinking that these people are going to become rich using that one method. Now, I'm not telling you that that one method may not get you a property. It surely can, but that's not what a real estate investor is or can do. When you have a broad base of knowledge, knowing not just subject to, but contract for deed, our favorite, installment sale contract, right? You got your wraparounds, your purchase money mortgage, your options, right? All the other different methods that you can use to purchase property. And if you know how to use them in the right situation, that's where you're going to take your real estate investing to the next level. Now, you can fart around and pay somebody like Pace Morley 10, 15, 20 grand and learn subject to, but when you go to put it in practice, good luck. You may get one property a year, if you're lucky. If you're lucky.
I told you, maybe it was on the last podcast. I did an installment sale recently, contract for deed.
Right.
And the reason I did it, I looked at the buyer comfortable a little bit with the market. Have to put more money down initially, the interest rate, the closing costs, everything. So I sat down
Hold on,
with
hold on 1 second. You broke up a little bit. Did you say to say about that down payment again? Did you say they put less down or more down?
the initial down payment they would have to come up with,
Okay.
plus the closing costs,
Right. Okay.
were unbelievable.
Right.
Sat down with the seller and the buyer and explained the whole sale contract for deed.
Right.
And it took a little while. It
Hmm.
took two sittings,
Sure.
um, but they got it,
Right.
and and the buyer is going to over the next they're putting more and more and more money down.
Right.
Interest rates will go up,
Right.
and then they'll be in the position, at the balloon to, you know. But it does work. That's what I'm trying to
Right.
tell these. I'm not going to call them knuckleheads, but I'm telling you, I'm sitting right here and telling you,
Right. How?
and it was near $1 million.
Yeah.
It wasn't
You,
chump change.
you know what's
And the lower you go, the easier it'll be anyway.
right.
When you go higher, it's a little bit.
Well,
But you know who bought into it first, man?
who's that?
The seller
Right. Which is great because they have to move their property.
bought into it first.
Right.
The buyer took a little time to come along.
Right. Which that's surprising. It's usually the other way around. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I tell people we talk about this. We talk about this often. The people that are going to go out there and try and do creative financing, you need to know how to talk to a buyer and a seller. You need to know how to communicate. You need to have a rapport. Do not think that you're going to walk into a seller or a buyer's house, spit out some guru gibberish, and think you're going to get a deal. If you've never dealt with people before in real estate setting, they're just going to throw you out because they don't know any of the terminology. They don't know it.
I was thinking about the Golden Triangle the other day, and I'm thinking, and maybe you do it, but a big part, is even if you do a boot camp or what, however, how to speak to people, how to speak to
Yes.
the sellers,
Yes. We
because
do it
you
all the
have to
time.
be able to go left, go right,
Yes.
stay there, explain it, have confidence when
Yep.
you're projecting your idea,
Yep.
because confidence, they'll have confidence.
Yep. Yes. Listen, okay, first off,
Throw button, and you go, okay, this is how the deal. You know what?
goodbye.
You're gonna give them time to think, to say, this guy's a little shaky. I know, you know what I'm saying.
What's called about credibility. If you have no credibility, you are going to get thrown out of the house or get hung up on. They are not going to deal with you. If they don't think you're a legit person who's a real guy that knows what they're doing, they're not going to. You're talking about trying to do creative financing. Okay, and you think these people are just see, that's what the gurus think. They do everything from the eyes of the buyer. Look how easy it is. Yeah, when you're looking at it that way, but you've got to sit across from a seller, and then say, okay, this is what I want to do. And you got to convince them, but it's not about convincing them. In my opinion, you tell me whether you agree or not, it's about educating them on how the system works. How are you going to get paid? And more importantly, what is in it for you? Because the seller doesn't care about the buyer. He doesn't care about me. He cares about what's in it for him. And that's what you have to do. You have to find out the seller's wants and the seller's need. Now, everybody wants a Lamborghini in a driveway, but what do you need? You need a car to get back and forth to work. Let me get you that car. Now, if I can make that car into a Lamborghini, I'll get it for you. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to get you the car, right? And if you can satisfy those needs, you're going to be successful. But it's not about going in there and spewing, let me show you how I'm going to take your deed over, right? But the loan's going to stay in your name, but don't worry, my name is Pace Warbley, and I'm the man, I'm the guru, I'm the best. They're going to throw you out. Throw you out.
Yeah, that deal. I guess you and I could sell a subject too, because we just know what we're doing, and we could smooth it out.
Me and you can
The
sell any deal.
Yeah, these young investors, that's a hard sell. So they should stay with their strength, which is a contract for deed.
Right. Well, they don't have a strength. Most of them don't have a strength. They're out there wandering the world, following gurus online, and they all think that you could pay somebody $10,000, $20,000, and you're going to be the next Carlton
Oh, that's
Sheets.
well, that's the way people are. The more they pay for something, the more they think it's better,
Right.
it works.
Right.
Whether it's a car or jewelry, they put value on those things.
Right.
So mentally, they think it's worth more.
Right. Well,
But so that's where I get it. Someone says to a young investor or someone who's just getting into the business, oh, here's 10,000, 15. They're going to be trusting that guru that they have their best interest,
right.
because
They don't.
that's a big amount of money.
Right.
They're thinking, oh, why would they charge me 15, 20, 30,000
So that
if
the
it
guru
doesn't
can go.
work?
Listen, you go watch it. Your guy, right? Your guy, Grant Cardone, just bought a fucking $50 million plane. Why? Because all these morons go pay him $35,000. They're stuck in the money. You think he cares one bit about any of those people? Not one.
Freaking SOB. Yeah. He's not even likable.
No,
You look
no,
at that guy, he's
no,
not even likable.
No, he's not likable. He's not, because they're all.
Buddy to pay him.
They're all hucksters. They all care about their money. They don't care less about their client. And you look at a guy, and you know what's sad? You look at a guy like me, who's been through it all. I'm saying, listen, I'm going to help everybody. I'm only charging $59 because I want to help you. It's not about the money to me. It's not about the money to me. It's about me
Charge
trying
more.
to help you. And what happens? It's like, hey, I really don't believe you because you're only charging I should, if all things were equal, I should be charging people $100,000 to work with me.
People value.
Right.
I always said you're too cheap.
I mean, for the experience, the knowledge, and what I've been through in my life, I should start charging people $100,000. That's what I should charge. Work with 3 people a year and make them millionaires.
Back and more
Yeah.
and make money.
Listen, if I went down that route, I charge $100,000, but I guarantee you, I'll make you a millionaire, right? Now look, you better have money and you better have credit, okay? You better be able to do things on your, take my knowledge and don't just sit on the couch and think I'm going to do all the work. But you better have some assets to come along with it. And if you do,
and if you you're going to get conventional and creative, right, and you're going to know how to maneuver into a deal.
I'm going to do short sales, right? I'm going to get them into short sales. I'm going to get them into creative financing, but that's only going to be the small part because it's hard to do. I'm not saying it's hard to do creative financing, but in the beginning, that takes a knowledge base where you got to constantly learn and constantly do, right? And you're going to learn doing that, but you'll be more successful if we just go out and find some property, right? And we can either flip homes, do turnkey short sales, right? I'll make you a millionaire in 2 years or less.
I wasn't going to bring this up because I just thought of it. I had a conversation with a few people, and I met this guy. He must be probably early 40s now. On the island, the most arrogant, has no tact.
Right.
Like we were talking about the other day. What he did, he had a school buddy, big money, is developing just on the bay down here, 2 homes side by side right next to the yacht club.
Right.
You're talking 7 to 10 million. 7 to 10 million. He's buying property everywhere because it's not his money, but he has the assets. But this is how the last 2 years he is on fire because of those assets. And just over here, he's building his own home. And this guy lived in a shack.
Right.
And now you should see this home.
Right. But it all started because he used other people's money, right? And it's the same.
He has the cash. He has no tact.
Right.
He just goes in. He buys them out. Buys the homeowner out.
Right.
Tears down the property.
Yep.
And then they build these.
That's what I did. That was what I did. That's what I did all the way up until 2008. I did that. But
I just did a deal with him. another realtor. I'm across the street doing some business up on 15th Street. This was about a month ago. And the guy I'm talking about, the arrogant guy, he
Yeah.
has a sign on the building. And there's a for sale sign with a realtor who's not a big realtor, small realtor.
Right.
And I asked my guy, I said, what the heck happened? He goes, he beat me to that so fast.
Right.
He goes, I went for it and I didn't get it. And
Wow.
this guy, yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, like you were saying, if you have some assets,
So right.
uh,
Listen, it's just like it's why it's another reason why I can't stand that Pace Morbley, right? He goes in. I bought this trailer park. He bought a trailer park because he used all of his students' money. He asked all of them to give him money, right? He used not a penny of his own, right? So if you have access to money, you could be so rich so fast. I could listen. You give me somebody who has assets, I'll turn him into
it
a
is true.
gazillionaire.
Yeah, I mean, in this market, now there is 240 silent,
Right,
and I'm hearing there's cash buyers coming in.
right,
Right? People are paying more so this time. People are 250 listings are on the island as of today,
right.
but people there is word people are coming in with cash.
Where are they coming from?
Budget. Maybe they just have money sitting around. Maybe they're hitting their savings.
Right,
They're saying, well, the shore is the way to go. I don't have to qualify. I'm just going to bang it out.
right,
Happening.
right. Ah, well,
Passing that, the interest rates and the qualifying. Then you come anywhere down here or even in the main line, you are going to get torn apart on a single family. I think you are. I mean, for your records and paperwork, and
right.
they're going to put you through.
Qualifying for the loan. See, I'm seeing right now, just recently, just now, we just moved out a little bit farther. We're a little bit farther out now, right? And I'm going to say a year ago, I barely saw a for sale sign, right? And when you did, the next day there'd be a sold sign on it, right? That's how strong the market was. Now, I see 4 or 5 houses in the neighborhood, for sale signs up, and they're not selling. And I think the reason why they're not selling is the buyers are not used to paying 6, 7, 8% in interest rates. Now, me and that's a normal rate. That's just that. This is what we're used to. But when you had rates down at 2 and 3, 4% for so long, people are like, man, everybody got a loan at that interest rate or refinance at that rate. They're thinking, why would I get out of my 2 or 3% loan and go get a 6 or 7% loan? So you're not getting a lot of people selling their houses anymore, right? So if they're not selling their house, they're not going out and buying a new one, right? They're not either going up or down. They're staying status quo. So you
And
got
the
the people.
problem is, the problem is the prices aren't coming down.
Right, right, but that'll change. Yeah, but see, yes,
No.
but that's a good thing where you can come in with creative financing, though, right? When you're not getting bites, you can go in with creative financing and say, hey, listen, I've got another way we can get this deal done. I just made a call. I'll just say this real quick. I just made a call to a realtor down in Cape May. It's $3.85 million. It's a bed and breakfast. Now, I talked to him about it, but I didn't even get into doing creative financing. Just told him I was an investor, right? I also represent other investors. And we're looking for a deal. This house has been on the market for over a year. And he's like, well, I said, listen, it's not a bad thing to me. I'm just stating the obvious, right? I'm not accusing you that it's a bad or anything like that. I'm just saying that, hey, there might be an alternative way of getting things done here, but let's see if the numbers work. The problem is the numbers were just, they didn't work. The income producing it didn't cover it. It might have been a break even.
Yeah, there's a couple here on the island, couple B&Bs for sale.
Yeah,
And I think they're up near 3.
right. Yeah, this is
3
3.85.
something. Yeah, 3
But,
something.
but
But I don't think a B&B, well, Cape May is different. Cape May, you may get that income.
well, the thing is with that though, like you got it, like if an investor like one of my students would go in there, right? And I always tell them, don't be afraid of the numbers. They're just numbers. They either work or they don't work, right? Doesn't matter if you're doing 100,000 or 3 million, right? You're not going to have the money to repay it either way. But if it works, if the numbers work, it's going to pay for itself. Because everybody's worried about the negative. What if it goes bad? Don't let it go bad, right? That's number one. Don't make sure the numbers work. And if the numbers work, it won't go bad. But it doesn't matter if it's 200 or 300,000 or 3 million. Are you going to recover on either way? No. Okay. So then, what's the difference? As long as the numbers work, go look at anything. These didn't work, and nobody wants to run a B&B. So, switching it over to a single was pretty easy, but the numbers were dramatically. I mean, she'd have to take. Really, that house was only worth on a rental basis like 2.85, or an income basis really like 2.85. So, but I know they're not going to take that, so it's not even worth pursuing.
In a difficult situation, I think it's a little bit tougher to sell.
But most of those that own that, don't you think they do that out of a labor of love? They like having that kind of.
Back in the day, I think they did, but are they doing it now? Except
Cape
May's
May's different, though. Cape May's different. That's
but
what
you
they
get
are.
tired after a while. You get tired
Yeah.
of the hospitality.
No, I agree with that. I agree with you there. I agree with you there. But
not as easy as you think it is.
Right. But my point is, though, and this is what I tell my students, don't be afraid of the number. I don't care if it's, 100,000, 300,000, 500,000, or $4 million. If the numbers work, do the deal. Right? You agree with that or no? Yeah.
You get your hand on any type of real estate and you do a deal, you do it.
Right. And this is where, and I'll pat myself a bit on the back here about the academy. We teach you what tool to use for that property, because not all properties are meant to do subject to, or not all properties are good for an installment sale. Some might be good for a wraparound, or some might be good just to flip it outright, right? Some might be good to buy. Everything is different, right? Each property is its own entity in itself, where you got to figure out how can I make money on that deal? What's the best way for me to make money? Is it best for me to buy and hold it? Is it best to flip it? Is it best to do what with it?
You see the other trend they're doing, they're building smaller homes now.
Yeah.
Because it's more affordable. Plus, are you seeing any longer term mortgages going out to 40, 50 years yet?
I was just talking to Amy the other day, and she said a lender just came out with a 40-year loan. And I think the reason why they're doing that is because when you spread that term out, but you have a higher rate, that still will give you a lower payment because you lowered the term. It's just like doing a car loan, right? You can take a car loan for 2 years.
Or the car industry is mirroring that. They're really in trouble. The car industry, that whole thing is going to blow up before the real estate's going to be fine. This is not selling, but because you have car dealers that have every car they bring into a dealership, they're paying interest on to the manufacturer.
Yep.
So they are dying, especially Stellantis with Jeep and Dodge, and those guys are just they're starving, man.
Well, you know what's also killing them is that the EVs. They can't get those EVs off they're not selling them.
Oh.
People don't want. Listen, I'm not opposed to electric cars, but I like hearing an engine. Like I love the old sports cars, the big, powerful engines. I love those, right? I'm a 77 Trans Am lover, right? I had Trans Ams in my life, and I like hearing that. But listen, you get further on, yeah, the electric cars are going to be the wave of the future, but nobody wants one right now.
I have a couple of hybrids. The hybrids are really, really good, but that's where Toyota's going. They're not going in EVs. They're having the hybrid. They see the future. Well, they're the number one company, but they're selling all hybrids. They're not getting in EVs.
Right.
Strictly EVs.
Well, the problem
and
with
Teslas
EVs
right now you can get cheap.
Yeah, the problem with the EVs are, now I don't know a lot about them, is from what I'm hearing, is that you can only go 200-300 miles and you got to charge the damn thing up, and there's not a lot of charging stations out there, right? So
Friends down in Florida, they had a Tesla,
how much does it cost
and
to charge a car? Does it cost money to charge a car in one of those charging things?
they have them now at Wawa down in Florida.
Right.
All in the back, they have
Charging?
Tesla put them in.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's a charging thing up near up where I used to live in Malvern. The Wawa has like 4 or 5 Tesla charge. How much is it to charge the car? I don't know. Did you ever do it? No.
hybrids.
Oh, you got a hybrid. Okay. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't have a plug-in.
Okay. All right. Well, if
Uh-uh.
anybody knows about the hybrids, leave us some comments and we'll talk about that at one point. All right. So back to the market, right? Back to the market. I think this is a good time now for creative financing because I'm telling you, I see things where houses are not moving.
Anytime, Vin.
What's that?
Anytime it is.
Well, no, I agree with that.
Anytime it is.
No,
Any market.
I know, but some markets are stronger than others. Listen, we're getting out of a very, very strong seller's market. Okay, it was a lot harder to do creative financing in that market, right? Because anybody could just put a for sale sign and they're getting over asking price in 10 minutes, right? So it's difficult to deal with that. But I don't see houses moving as fast as they were, right? Now you're in a different situation because a lot of guys are buying and tearing down and building in your neck of the woods, and
There's a stagnant market. I told you that this 2.5, 2.6. I have right now. I'm sitting in the middle of about 6 of them,
right?
and they're not moving.
They're not moving. Wow.
Tear down a duplex down the street a little ways,
Right?
away from the beach, and they bought it, and they are going to put up one of those
McMansions.
story 2.6. I don't get it.
Right.
I mean, if everything around there, it's the slowest market that here on our island.
Right?
It's the slowest market.
Right?
It's the slowest market, and
Well, it's a good time
but
to
this
do
is what I
deals.
was going to. Well, this is what I'm going to say about the Golden Triangle. So they got to sell. People die, so they got to sell.
Right?
There's arguments with
Partners.
no matter if they got a 3%,
Right?
they got to get out.
They got to get out. Yep.
Sustainable for
Right.
that. There are deals out there. You just got to find them. You
Just
got to have the
You
knowledge.
have to work. Right. Nothing's going to fall on your lap. People talk about lucky. Like when I was buying a lot of homes, right? When we were tearing up, they're like, "Oh, look how lucky I'm not lucky. I'm out here working. It's not luck."
Since you have the knowledge and you have the experience, you can pass that on to your students. You have the ears.
Right.
When you hear something,
Yep.
they're not hearing what you're hearing.
Right.
Someone talks to you about a house,
Yep.
calculating.
Yep.
The new students will eventually get there, but people aren't trained to spot a deal.
Right.
Go by, not even notice it.
So
You'll
true.
go by and you'll go, here, oh, I think I could do something.
It's
Or at least
100%
present
true.
it to them.
Yep.
Yeah.
100% true. That's so true. Now, let's bring up, because we're running a little bit low on time, let's bring up my favorite hateful guru, Mr. Pace Morbley, and the fraud that he is. This guy's all over the place. I think he's either running out of money because his subject to is going to hell in a handbasket. People are finding that fraud out quick. I saw, look, every time.
Gator and all that.
God, I can't
The
stand this
gator.
commercial. The guy just, it's like chalk, it's like fingers on a chalkboard with that guy. He comes out with a commercial. Hey, I went to get gas, and the guy at the gas station says, I've been following for years, and I'm still can't get my first deal. And the guy's like, you've been following me for years, and you haven't got a deal done? And I'm like, exactly, stone cold fraud. You cannot, I don't care how much you follow that guy. Oh my God, and he does the same stupid shit. Hey, guys, and here's the other one. Look at my student. My student made $60,000 wholesaling this deal to me. Okay, why didn't this, here's my thing. Why didn't the student make all of the money on the deal, right? Because you, Mr. Pace Morbley, you took that guy's money, You bought the fucking house instead of that guy, right? And so what you did is you bought a property, put the money down, paid the realtor up. Like literally a monkey can do what this guy's doing. What I mean by that is this. I just want everybody, I don't know if you can see this on the board, Guru. I don't know if you can see this, but I'm going to put this up on the board. And let's see if you can see, give me 1 second. Sorry about that. Let me get the board up first off. And I'm going to put it up on the board, okay? I don't, if you look at your reverse, if you look
I
at
can't. That's all right.
All right, well, if you can see your board, which is, if you look at our reverse feed, you'll see it. Okay, what I'm talking about is this, right? If you have Mr. Seller right here, okay? And Mr. Seller has this house right here for sale, and we'll just say $200,000, okay? We'll say the fair market value is also $200,000, okay? And let's just say Mr. Seller, he owes, let's say $150 on the house, okay? And here is Mr. Pace. And this is what he talks about all the time. And this is what I'm talking about. Literally, a monkey can do what he's doing. What he does is, it's for sale 200, he owes 150, right, Guru? So what he does is he's going to do subject to for the 150, subject to financing, okay, which means he takes over the payments. Ooh, that's really hard. He gives the seller the $50K in equity, okay? So he needs the $50,000 to do that, which none of the students have any of that money, right? None of the students have the $50K, okay?
50.
That's number one. Then let's add another $10,000 in closing costs, right? You agree with that? At least 10 grand in closing costs? Okay, so he's up to 60,000. Then the realtor's got to the seller, they's got to pay the realtor, okay? They want their 5% or 6%, but we'll just we'll say 5% in this case. So we got $200,000 at 5%, so that's what, 5 times, that's another $10,000, right? Right, 200,000, 5%, right? So what is that? It's I can't even add that up. I'm sorry.
5% on every $5,000 on every 100.
Yeah, times 5% is 10,000, right? So there's another 10,000. So there's $70,000 out of pocket, okay? That he's got to come up with, and all he does is he comes up with the $70,000. He pays off the seller, pays the realtors off, pays the closing costs, and takes the loan subject to financing. How hard is that? I mean, literally, I can teach a monkey in 3 minutes how to do that. That is not creative financing. That's nothing. Here's what I want, and you know what? And here's the thing. Then he's going to talk to his people, and he's going to say, you don't have to put any money down, right? Here's the thing. He goes, I borrow it from a private lender. Let me tell you this, folks. Let me explain something to you, folks. There's not a private lender.
Well, not a hard money, just a private lender.
Private or hard money that will ever go into the second lien position behind a subject to finance loan.
Dumb money.
Too much. Yes, you've got to be a moron to do it. But any person who's been in the business more than 5 minutes will never lend any money behind a subject to. Now, he might get it because he has all his marketing money that's going to back. Well, so he goes to a private money guy and says, listen, you lend me the money. If it fails, I got 500,000 students, give me 10 grand. I'll pay it back. I'm as good as it gets. So the private money says, sure, I'll go in with you. I'll do the deals. Okay. But what he doesn't do is, why doesn't he let his private money give the money to the students and let the students make the money, right? He doesn't. He pays top dollar for every house that he friggin' buys, right? He uses money that nobody else has access to, and he talks about he's the greatest creative financing guy out there. The guy's a clown. He's an absolute clown. And the people that follow him, they think they're going to get something for their 10 or 20 grand. Stop. The only thing you will get is you will make money. I will admit this. If you find him a deal and send it to him, he'll give you a wholesale fee. He'll give you what we call, when we flip a contract, we call it a finder's fee, right? The gurus
all that. Even he doesn't have enough money to keep up that pace.
Right.
No pun intended.
Right. But see, people need to understand. You're not going to be successful following that. Now listen, if you have a lot of money, yes, you can do that. And then here's the thing. What happens if you, not Guru Pace, but the guy who follows him, and they call that note due? What are you going to do then? Pace says, oh, I just laugh about it and I have another story. Stop it. That's not what you tell your students, because that's a serious issue. They're going to foreclose on that house. And you're going to say, oh, that's great, I just got another story. No, it's not great. You've got to tell them how they're going to get the hell out of that deal before they screw up the seller and screw themselves. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
Get it. I mean,
and this guy's all over the place. No one left behind. I'm the greatest there is. The guy, put me in a room with this guy. Let's do 10 deals. I guarantee you I'll get all 10. I will get every deal. He wouldn't be able to do one deal. Me and him, head to head. I'll challenge him right now. 10 deals. Put 10 deals on the table. Let's see who walks away. Me or him. I'll have all 10. He's a stone cold fraud.
he's not going to do that.
He'll never take me up because he knows I will show him to be the fraud that he is. If he didn't have access to all that cash, he would be a nobody. But he's got access to cash, which anybody who has access to cash can be a millionaire in no time.
At some point, that method, he's going to run into a dead end, and he's going to be in trouble, I think.
Well, that's why he always comes up with a new marketing guru name. Comes up with something new because he has to come up with something fresh all the time because his subject to is bullshit. So he always comes up with a new marketing name. He's a huckster. Dude, he's a friggin' huckster. Stop following that guy. You're not going anywhere when you follow this guy. And do not think by giving him $10,000 you're going to make money. Stop it. It's a joke.
You should do a boot camp. People tell you in the fall on Saturday.
I might do it. I'm getting so frustrated.
Do a boot camp, man.
I think you're right. I think I'm going to do a boot camp. I'm going to do it. I'm going to do a boot camp. I'm going to do it.
Just do a mini one.
Yeah, I might do a mini one. You know what? Matter of fact, I'm going to do one. I'm going to set it up, and then on our next podcast, I'll announce it and where it's going to be and what it's going to be at.
Try to give the opportunity for people to, and they might be stale. Maybe they've done a few things out there, but they need to get some confidence and new.
Right.
Yeah, a new approach to things. Yeah. Deals are out there. I'm telling you.
I can't agree with you more. I agree 1,000% with you. They're out
there.
They are.
I got proof for it. They
are. So do my students. We got proof. We do it. We don't. We educate people. So.
Go for it, man.
Yep.
I might even show up and take a class.
Well, that's fine. Well, you can help teach it. We'll put you up. We'll put you up on the front.
You know what I would be good at? How to talk to sellers and people. That's what I would concentrate on because I think that's invaluable.
Right. Well,
you could be 30 years. You could be let's say you could be 25 years old, but you can eventually talk like a 50-year-old.
Right.
Celebrate you.
I will not disagree. Well, let me just let me speaking about the sellers. Let me tell you what we do at the Academy. We have an app on our phone. I tell everybody to get this app, and it's called. I'll tell you what it's called. Right. And we have it right here. It's called Call Recorder. Right. Call Recorder. Right. It's this little app on our phone, and this allows you to record the call. Now we have on there like when he calls, it says we're recording the call. Right, and we say, listen, we're recording it for education, because we're investors. So what I do is we record the call, I play it in class, and then I let the class. I say, okay, you give me your feedback if you think it was good, bad, or ugly, and what they should have said or what you would have said, and then they all give their feedback, and they're like, oh, that was great, it was great, it was great, right? This is what I'm talking about, get educating the students, right? They're all like, oh yeah, maybe I would have said this, and then I get up there and I say, no. Here's how you should have said everything. And they're like, oh my God, what a huge difference, right? So we do actually critique all the calls here at Golden Triangle Academy. We listen to them, we critique them, right? We try to say, and we help you improve on your calls. So maybe we'll do that at the boot camp as well. We'll have a couple of the calls and say, hey, how would you handle this call? So, and it's funny because, you know what's really funny? It's that I say, listen, guys, I'm going to save all these calls, and in 2 years, go back and listen to your first call to this call, and we've done that, and it's friggin' hysterical. Hysterical. They're like, oh my God, I can't.
Well, in the beginning, you're a little nervous. I
I'm a
get
little
it.
nervous, dude. It's hysterical because you should hear them bumbling and fumbling. It's hysterical, right? It's funny as hell.
The seller's trying to sell a house.
Yeah,
They're not
right.
gonna. They're not gonna bite you.
I tried to say that. I said, listen, they're advertising for sale. They want you to call, right? They might not
Like you're cold calling, like a
Right.
realtor.
Right.
Do you need a house listed? You know,
Right.
you're calling.
Right.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
calling because they're trying to sell it to you. They're trying to sell it, right? You're buying it just in a different way. So that's how they got it. That's how it, Listen, I got guys that refuse to call. I got a private student that lives 23 years old. He has a heart attack before he can't pay. He'll literally, so I gotta make the calls for him because he hyperventilates. I'm like you're on the phone. They wouldn't know you if they were standing next to you.
If he does a few deals, do you think it would change?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, he's gotten close to a couple of big deals, but we were doing them in the seller's market. He's got a couple deals on the table right now. He might close, but I got to do it for him. That's the problem. Like he'll go find them and I'll call them, and he tries to call and he hyperventilates trying to make the call. It's funny as hell, It is funny. He can't do it. He can't make the call. But it is what it is. I mean, they're learning. They're learning. So anyway. All right, Guru. Well, listen.
Next time, and we'll.
The next time we'll talk about the boot camp, and we'll give everybody an update on the market and see where we're at.
Yeah, you should get that together.
Yeah.
And do you have your scroll? Do you have everything there? They can contact you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh. Well, wait a minute. What do you mean? No. But the way that they can contact me is very simple. Let me put this up on the reaction board. To get a hold of me and the Golden Triangle is very easy. All you need to do is text the word golden, E-N, to this number, 21,000. Okay? You text the word golden, 21,000. My digital business card will pop up on a link, and it'll give you my cell phone, my email, YouTube channel, whatever, all the different ways to get a hold of me. So all you got to do is just hit that, text that word golden 21,000. You'll get a hold of me, and you can find out more about the academy. Again, I'm here to help everybody. It's not about the money to me anymore. It's $59 a month. It's a joke.
You got to. Money's out there. You'll leave. Trust me.
It's true.
All your prejudices. Open your mind.
Yes.
Open your mind.
I sentiment that. I totally agree with that sentiment. Open your mind, because that's your greatest asset. Your mind is your greatest asset. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. All right, Guru, it was good chatting with you again. Let's not wait 9
soon.
months.
Don't wait too long. Wait a minute.
You got it. We'll
right.
We'll do another one quickly. All right, bud. I'll talk to you soon.